You know who made it.
And we are live from LinkedIn, YouTube, Twitch, Instagram, Facebook. It's a Revening's Wednesday. Welcome to Wednesday, Revenue Party people. We've got our hot topics, hot prizes, and hot guests ready for you tonight. So I'm going to get right into it. Where are you all tuning in from tonight? Hey, Layla. Thank you for all your help with this. Cherry Assistant is amazing. And High Level as well. Couldn't do this show without either of those. And thank you to both of them for sponsoring tonight's show. And I want to tell you a little bit about both of them before we get into things. But also want to tell you a little bit about Secta. Feel free to pause this and scan the QR code or just go to secta.ai/Jesse and you get 20% off headshots, AI headshots. We're going to be talking about AI today, and you'll see a lot of the posts I do are my AI headshots, and I tried a lot of different tools, but Secta AI was the best, so you should try it out. What's up, South Florida in the house? And we're using StreamYard tonight to go live, and StreamYard has been my preferred live stream tool. So I help coach on how to use this, and I love it because it helps me be creative. You'll see throughout the show, we've got different images and graphics, and also I can stream across channels, but primarily because it's a preferred LinkedIn tool. And then, it just makes it easier because with Facebook, they have their own live stream software and some of the other tools, but LinkedIn doesn't really yet. So they have preferred vendors, and StreamYard is one of them. And I would love to help you with StreamYard. So join the coaching program or put hashtag personal branding in the comments to start entering to win 1 month free in my coaching program. Also, Cherry Assistant, like I said, has helped a lot with this episode. Layla, she's with Cherry Assistant, and she is amazing. But Cherry Assistant has helped put this whole episode together primarily by taking all the different headshots and titles and all the different episodes and replicating them and updating them every week and following up with the guests to make sure we all have everything we need and we're talking about things that we feel confident in. And so thank you so much for Layla for all her help, and Sabrina who helped with this episode moving into it, and DJ Kim. And side note, congratulations to DJ Kim for selling yet another company. This one is a maid service company, and I believe it was based in Arizona. So big congratulations to DJ Kim. He's doing a lot of really great work, and he's the founder of Cherry Assistant. They're doing some really good things there. So check them out. This is my affiliate link. And High Level. So if you use my QR code, and you can also get to it if you go to reveting.com/high level. It'll take you to an extended 30-day free trial of High Level. And I'm able to give you that because I'm a sponsored affiliate. Actually, next week I'll be in Dallas speaking at the High Level Summit with other affiliates about being a high level affiliate. And I would love to help you become a high level affiliate because there's 40% commission monthly recurring. And I use the tool, and I used the tool before they sponsored and before I became an affiliate. And it's become another stream of revenue for me. So if it's something you're interested in, don't hesitate to reach out. I would love to help you. Scan the QR code to get started and just test drive it. Also, if you like this episode, you like the content, I'm sending a weekly newsletter. So you can subscribe to that by going to reviting.com, or you may have already done that when you registered for the show if you opted into the marketing related materials. But yeah, there's a newsletter going out. I give you a recap on what we talked about last week on Wednesday, who's coming on this week, and also a little bit in between about what I'm working on in that week. But yeah, tune in. Would love to have some more readers and discover your personal brand and grow. So this is what we're doing as a service at Reviting. So this is our flagship, Winsday, but really what gets the majority of our attention are our clients. So we help our clients go live across channels, and then we repurpose that content with AI. And we can do that by pulling the transcription and using that data, qualitative data, feed that to AI to create newsletters and blogs and so much more. And not only that, you can take the audio version and edit it and turn it into a podcast. We do that here, but we also do it a lot better for our clients. And then, of course, repurposing, and you can use AI to repurpose videos. And we do that post production on all of our Wednesday episodes. We'll send those to the guests as well. But just little recaps that you can not only share on LinkedIn, which there's the TikTokification of LinkedIn we talked a little bit about last week with their video scroll on the mobile app. But yeah, use video. So anyway, I digress. That's what we're doing during the day at Reviting, and then also the coaching program. So if you just want to learn how to do it and you don't want anyone to do it for you, then you can join the coaching program for that. But we're giving away prizes from the sponsors tonight. So get a free swag pack from High Level by putting High Level in the comments. You can tag them on LinkedIn, Facebook, or YouTube to enter to win. So just get High Level in the comments to enter to win. Hashtag headset to get a free professional headset. This is a wireless headset. It works really well on your sales call. This is from Headset Advisor. Go ahead and search them on LinkedIn and search them on YouTube. They have really great content, but they're selling to professional sales teams. So this is not just your average wireless headset. Put hashtag headset in the comments of the show, wherever you are, to start entering to win. You can't enter to win on Instagram. That's the only one that we're not capturing on tonight. And then for prize 3, you get a month in my personal branding coaching program. For 1 month, just put hashtag personal branding, one winner at the end of the episode. And finally, hashtag revenue to enter to win our guest prizes. Now, these are usually always the most popular because people want to meet the guests, and you're going to hear from them here in just a second. I'm going to bring them in and stop rambling, but I'm going to let them explain what they're giving away. You can see right here the disability dividend supercharge your bottom line through disability inclusion book. Thank you, Dr. Kirk Adams. We're going to be meeting him here in just a moment. And then we have Kirk. And Kirk, I forgot to ask you how to pronounce your last name, but the way I read it is Intharath. So I'll ask you here in just a moment. But he's got a one-on-one AI productivity session for 1 hour. So that is pure gold. You are going to want that. And I'm going to bring them on here to talk to them a little bit about that and hear an introduction from you. But did I get your name correctly?
Yeah.
Yay,
Coming
I'm so
through.
glad.
Good job, Jesse.
Winning. And Dr. Kirk Adams, thank you for being here. And thank you as well for being here. And as promised, we want to learn a little bit about you and the stuff we can't find on LinkedIn. So if you're watching, go follow them on LinkedIn now. Would love to hear from you. Brandy, are you following our guests? You absolutely should. Same with you, Liz and Lisa. Go follow both of our guests. You're going to meet them here in just a minute. I'm going to start with you. I guess alphabetical order. H comes before I. So 2 minutes. Could you tell us your full life story and what brought you to this moment?
Yep, first generation immigrant, came here from Laos. Pretty much grew up here in the U.S. and I grew up. I live in Massachusetts, and I have a degree in marketing and business. Uh, Business, and I got into marketing. If you believe it or not, this will date me in the Yellow Pages. So I've been doing it since then. So kind of like really getting that foundational uh, skill set of understanding um, advertising, marketing, and how to really talk to people, right into getting into the transformation of the digital side when Google and ads and Facebook and SEO started to grow. And then I started my agency, and I actually started a few different agencies, from SEO to a website to 360s to then a full digital agency. And then now we are Compound Effect, which is a business consulting firm. Because what I saw was, through the pandemic, a lot of businesses were suffering just trying to understand how to scale their business, and it was more than just marketing. You had to really understand the whole holistic end of a business. So we kind of consider everything. So as an entrepreneur myself, I really embrace and put my heart out there to help other businesses. Some things that people don't know about me: I actually have been a Buddhist monk 3 times. And even my closest friends don't know that. Like that, when we don't have digital cameras, it's so hard to find those photos, but my mom has those photos. So that's a little bit about myself. And I have, from a personal side, I have four kids, pretty busy. I almost didn't get a chance to jump on this live in time because I was tucking them into bed. And I have a beautiful wife. And that's it. Happy to be here.
And we're so happy to have you. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate all of that. And you did it under your 2 minutes mark. So, that's always impressive. You got the pitch down. So thank you so much, Com. And Dr. Kirk Adams, I'm going to put the 2-minute clock up. Could you
Okay. Well,
please take it away?
As a totally blind person, I am not seeing your clock. So if I'm running up on time, just say stop. So I was born as a sighted child when my parents were in college, born in Aberdeen, Washington, in the same hospital where Kurt Cobain of Nirvana was later born. And when I was in kindergarten, my retinas both detached, and I got lost trying to get home from the bus from the corner because I couldn't see. And my mom rushed me to the doctor. I had emergency surgery and woke up as a blind child the next day. And my parents had never met a blind person in their lives. They were in their mid-20s, didn't really know what to do. They were told I couldn't come back to school at the neighborhood school. I had to go to the state school for blind kids. And they visited the Washington State School, didn't like it, visited the Oregon State School, loved it, quit their jobs as 25-year-olds, moved the family to Oregon so I could go to the Oregon State School, and learned Braille and how to travel with a cane and how to believe in myself as a blind person and have a great sense of agency that I could do whatever I set my mind to. And then into public school, growing up in small towns in the Northwest, got a academic scholarship, graduate degree in economics, Phi Beta Kappa, cum laude, could not get hired, ran into the barriers that people with significant disabilities run into when seeking employment. Only 35% of us are in the workforce. And through a circuitous route, after 10 years in banking and finance, became a fundraising professional, the CEO of the Lighthouse for the Blind here in Seattle, and then of the American Foundation for the Blind in New York, which is Helen Keller's organization. And I had the privilege of leading that organization for 6 years. 2 years ago, departed there, making it a life decision that we needed to live in Seattle and not on the East Coast anymore. And I've been consulting, working with companies to help accelerate inclusion of people with disabilities in their workforce, and advising and being a shareholder in a handful of startups that are really interesting, doing techie things to help accelerate inclusion of people with disabilities. And one of the people I worked with introduced me to you, Jesse, and I'm just privileged and honored to be here. And I've learned a lot from you already, just your introductory remarks. I was taking notes, so I appreciate it.
Aw, that's so kind of you. Well, thank you so much. And I can't wait to learn from both of you tonight. Both of you bring, such a great expertise to the show tonight. And so you all are lucky. You get to learn from them. But keep us honest from the comments. Keep your questions coming. We want to keep this for you. Whoever's tuning in, whether you're in bed, scrolling on the phone, just whatever, we want to know what's on your mind. If you have questions, don't hesitate to ask. You know, in the US at least, it's after 5 o'clock everywhere. So everyone's boss should be okay with them engaging on LinkedIn. But is that something you've ever had issues with? I don't know. Put it in the comments. But also, if you haven't already, let us know where you're tuning in from in the comments and enter to win these prizes. But let's get into this first topic. Dr. Kirk Adams, disability inclusion, hiring, designing, marketing accessibly. Now, a lot of us don't always consider people with disability in our marketing, in our designs, and in our hiring. So please tell us what we don't know.
Oh, my interest is in doing what I can do, given what I know and the resources I have, to create opportunities for people to thrive. Large umbrella term, but whatever that means to them. And we exist interdependently. Unless you are a hermit, you're in community with others to some level. Workplaces are a primary community in our society, and people form a lot of their identity around the work that they do, the dignity and respect that comes with work. So that's really been my focus, is creating opportunities for people with disabilities to be engaged in meaningful, productive work, because it tends to cure a lot of the ills that many people with disabilities suffer because of the employment disparities. I mentioned only 35% of us are in the workforce, as opposed to 70% of the general population. So there's a lot of poverty. A third of us live in poverty. Home ownership is 10% of the general population. And there's a lot of health disparities, et cetera, that go with low income. So I really focus on that, and really from a strengths-based viewpoint, that the way that we as human beings develop talents and skills and unique strengths is through overcoming challenges. If you read a book like The Talent Code, it talks about premier athletes and musicians and artists and scientists, that they have gained those strengths and skills by facing ever increasingly difficult challenges and overcoming them. And living with a disability in our society, which was not designed to fit us with our impairments, gives us ample opportunity to overcome challenges. So allows us to develop really unique strengths in areas like resilience and grit and creative problem solving, and ability to analyze and manage risk, and how to work in diverse teams, and communication skills. And those are the characteristics that employers say they want in a 21st century workforce. So those are the conversations I have with companies, primarily those who are rapidly growing in some sort of tech space, advanced manufacturing, cybersecurity, digital health, that are facing some challenges attracting and retaining talent and competing for talent. And there are a lot of structures that exist in our country that are underutilized. Every state has vocational rehabilitation agencies that are funded by our taxpayer dollars, Department of Education, a $4 billion budget, that have staff and qualified clients with disabilities seeking employment opportunities. There are nonprofits in every community of any size focused on employment of people with disabilities. So I get to connect those dots and bring the right people from government, corporate, nonprofit, and community together, all sharing similar goals around improving employment outcomes, but none of them necessarily meeting their aspirations and goals, often working in silos. So I get to create those bridges, which is great. And then the other side of the coin are the companies who are in business to provide products and services to customers. And increasingly the customers that they seek to serve are going to be people with disabilities. As lifespans increase, our population ages. Blindness and low vision is the disability I am most familiar with. 16% of people over 65 have a visual impairment, 23% of people over 85. And as our population ages, the baby boomers who are used to getting what they want, when they want, how they want it, there's going to be a significant portion who have acquired impairments as part of the aging process, hearing loss, vision loss, challenges with mobility. And those companies that do not take that into account and do not eliminate barriers to people with impairments and disabilities purchasing their products and services are going to miss out on market share. They're not only going to lose money, they're going to lose customers and loyalty, and they're going to have a lot of dissatisfied people. And there's very good data now about the amount of money lost, particularly in e-commerce, from sites that aren't accessible. If a person goes to shop on a site and because of their visual impairment, they're not able to complete a transaction, they will leave and not come back and find a company that has designed their digital environment to be accessible. So there's lots of great work to be done. Lots of demographic and economic reasons moving us toward a more inclusive society, which is momentum that we really haven't had until very recent years.
Oh man, absolutely. No, Dr. Kirk Adams, this is such an important topic, and there's so much that we could take from that. And but before I really get into what I take away from all of it, I'd love to hear from you, Com.
We always, when we're talking to our clients about how you do marketing, you have to always think about the different diverse groups and inclusions that you have to consider out there. And even with AI, we're seeing now with the audio feature, you're able to use AI to kind of even give it to read and see things for you out there. So there's ways to kind of even have a chat bot now. Think about the future where you can have a chat bot that can just interact with you and give you, so you don't have to read things. You can just speak to it, tell it what you're arriving to a website and you're interacting with it. There are definitely regulations around making sure there's accessibility on websites, and not a lot of websites still they don't have that, which is really interesting. And that way, folks who have some type of disability, they should be able to navigate a website very easy. And that you can drop these widgets onto websites, do it yourself, but they have them. Accessibility is a brand that's pretty popular. I believe it's like $20-$30 a month, and they keep everything updated for you in real time. So that's the stuff that we always try to recommend to folks when they're thinking about how they provide a good experience with their brand, their web experience.
Absolutely. Such a great point. And, something I think about a lot with creating video and doing live streaming is making sure we have transcription, but also that things that I am putting on the screen, like when I have a QR code, I can tell people out loud where it's going. And a lot of the time you find that with these things, yes, it helps people with disabilities, but it also helps people who don't have disabilities sometimes too, sort of like what is it, Dr. Kirk Adams, the curb
cut effect. Yes,
exactly.
Right. So that those are the ramps that lead from the sidewalk to the street, and people with wheelchairs fought to have those implemented in the 70s and occupied the federal building in San Francisco and demonstrated in DC. And now only about 0.5% of the use is people with wheelchairs. So it's cyclists and skateboarders and parents with strollers and people with roller bags and grocery carts. So that's the curb cut effect, something that was created for people with disabilities that helps everybody. Like closed captioning is another great example, and audiobooks.
Oh yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And transcriptions.
Yep.
Exactly. So anyway, I digress, and we could talk about this, and we will talk a little bit more about, inclusivity throughout the conversation. But for now, let's get into bridging teams with AI. So insights unite sales and marketing. And to me, that means knowledge is power, right? So could you talk to us a little bit about bridging teams with AI, Com?
Yeah. Oftentimes, there's still this battle between like marketing doesn't give us qualified leads, sales says I have bad leads. It's because they're not communicating. They're in silos still. But if they are not in silos, they're working together. They're just not communicating correctly and they're not sharing all the information. I mean, everything comes down to just communicating. Make sure you're sharing all the information. Make sure you're actually collaborating, distilling the information. So I really think if marketing does their job well in the beginning, it makes the lives of sales people in the departments a lot easier. So when you have to do a reset or a gut check or an audit, is let's go talk to your audience, your target audience. So oftentimes I'll ask the marketing department, when's the last time you've done that? And most haven't done it within a year. There's a small percentage, I would say 25% or so, that actually have done it maybe every quarter. But like these insights need to be more real time, more often, because people behaviors change, people's maybe jargons or choices and triggers may change. So you have to have real time pulse on what's happening, and AI can really help you assist in understanding that by collecting the data. So if you're using like a marketing software like HubSpot, they're doing a great job integrating AI throughout their whole platform. So you're getting insight and data there. From a sales standpoint,
Or like high level.
Yes, and high level. I'm a user of high level, so I back you up there, Jesse.
Yes, I love that.
I use them all, but I'm now a high level user. So
yes, it's so powerful.
Yes, it's to its name. It's high level across the board. Like you just can do everything under the hub. So oftentimes we'll tell people you should use a tool like high level. And I say it, and if you don't have a tool, consider high level. It's affordable, it's versatile, so and it's got to give you all the different insights that you need across the whole buyer's journey. So when marketing is communicating with sales and they're telling this is what we're seeing, this is what we're thinking from a messaging standpoint, here's what we're putting out there. And then sales says, well, this is what I'm hearing. This is the issue that we're facing. This is why we're not getting them to the next stage in the sale cycle. There is misalignment. But if they don't want to talk to each other, just have all that data sit in like a customer data platform, like a CDP, and then have the AI crunch the numbers and come back and say, here you go, marketing, this is what you need to be doing in your role. Sales, here's what you need to be doing in your role. And that's a way to solve it by integrating. That's one way we've seen it to solve, to integrate marketing sales together.
I love it. Yeah, using data, using AI. But yeah, and I love also that you use high level. And I, selfishly put up the QR code to my affiliate link, which gives you the 30-day extended free trial. And if you sign up with that, you get a month free of my coaching program. But if you are listening on podcast, you can go to reveting.com/high level to find that as well, or just pause this video if you want to scan the QR code. But Dr. Kirk Adams, I'd love to hear your take on bridging teams with AI. Have you started using AI to bridge any teams?
I have. I use AI. I try to use it daily because I want to understand it. And I've not heard of high level until 20 minutes ago, but I will be looking into it. I am involved with a platform called personal.ai, and training a persona to be my AI twin, which is an interesting process. But I guess my underlying thinking is around AI as a promise and a threat for people with disabilities. It can do so much. There's a huge rage about people who are blind now asking AI to describe photographs and images, and it's a lot of fun. Meta has come out with glasses that are very, very popular, like wildfire, where a blind person wears glasses that have screens that scan what's in front of you, and there's AI tools that describe visually what's in front of you. So it just can open up a whole new world for us. At the same time, AI is made up of data and data points, and the data points that are fed into AI by people using technology. and people with disabilities use technology to a lesser extent than people without disabilities. Poor people use AI less than wealthy people. People of color use AI technology less. So the data points don't necessarily represent the community relatively. So there's some biases that come out that are concerning. The University of Washington has done a project where they submitted identical resumes, except some of the resumes had some identifying characteristics mentioning disability, and some didn't. And the response rates to the AI screening were really significant as far as the negative impacts of having disability indicated in a resume. And then you can ask something like one of the common AI tools, what's a good job for a blind person, and it'll give you a stereotypical answer, say piano tuner, contact center phone representative. And so I just have a caution around that, but the excitement around what AI can do as far as allowing a better fit between us with disabilities and the built environment, the digital environment, social, cultural workplaces, the potential is incredible.
Yeah, it's a great point. Well, with that, I want to hear from the audience. So I see there are people tuning in. Get into the comments. What's your take on all of this? Are you using AI to bridge teams? If so, how? Are you using data to bridge teams? If so, how? Like, we want to hear from you. I know you're probably learning here, but we want to learn from you as well and share your questions. And we have questions for you too, which is, how are you using AI? And also, what are you doing to talk to people with disabilities with your business, both people who you're trying to hire and also your audience, right, that you're marketing to? So put that in the comments. And in the meantime, we will be right back after these messages.
This is Mike, also known as Clean with Mike on Twitter. Mike hired a virtual assistant from Cherry Assistant about 2 years ago. Now he has a $50K per month business fully managed by a remote operator in South Africa. His VA from South Africa does the following: closing inbound leads on the phone, Yelp and Google and Facebook, manages his CRM and Go high level, deals with rescheduling, cancellations, any issues, hires and manages the cleaners, and sends them daily reports and updates. Mike has a fully cash flowing business managed by a remote operator for only $8 an hour. You can also hire a US equivalent worker in the Philippines, South Africa, Latin America for a fraction of the cost with Cherry Assistant. Be like Mike and grow your business with offshore staff.
I want to show you how to do a voicemail drop. And voicemail drops can be really creative ways to reach your audience. And, many of us are spending a lot of time on the phone making calls, but hey, I'm here over in marketing to report that you can do a mass voicemail drop, and let me show you how. Log into my account here, Reviting. The hard part about any campaign is knowing your audience and knowing what you're going to say to them. Definitely check out Lead Magic if you haven't already. So what I love about Lead Magic is their lead scraper. You can see that right here. Also, another thing are the technographics. Then import that into High Level. So High Level for me, it's white labeled. It's app.reviting.com. So when you go in here, you're going to you can get your contacts in here however you want, with the ones that you want to do the voicemail drop with. Once you know who you're sending your voicemail drop to, create a new workflow from scratch. And you can add in your trigger, which would be the tag that you add. For me, and for this example, I'll go ahead and say tag added, and it will be anyone who downloads my free LinkedIn 5-day challenge workbook that's on my LinkedIn page. And if you get that, we'll go ahead and wait just for a minute, save action, and then we're going to do voicemail. All right, so now I need to get a voicemail and I need an audio file. And luckily I have this just like free online tool. You can go to 123apps or online-voice-recorder.com. You can see it on the screen. And I am just going to record a voicemail Hey, it's Jessie Lezak. Wanted to follow up with you about the 5-day challenge workbook and course that you downloaded and see what you thought of it, if you've had a chance to complete it, and how I can support you on your journey to LinkedIn growth. Give me a call back anytime. My cell phone number is 510-335-9355. Thank you so much. Bye-bye. We'll move this in a little bit. Move that in just a tad. Save. Open so I can't see. So here is my recording. There it is. It's loading. Hey, it's Jessie Lezak. Wanted to follow up with you about the 5-day challenge workbook and course that you and that's how people will get into the voicemail drop. And I think you should try a voicemail drop too. And if you would like some support on that, I would love to help you. Just give me a call. You already heard my number in the recording, 510-335-9355, or you can email me at Jessie, just my first name, JESSIE @reveting.com. That's REVETING.com. Hope to help you with your voicemail drop here soon.
Wow, thank you so much, High Level and Cherry Assistant. That was the first time we've played Cherry Assistant's new ad, and they're incredible. I use both of them, but I want to go back to Lisa's comment. So, Lisa, you're the best. She says, I've been using AI for my business for the last several months, and it has been hugely helpful. So happy to hear that, Lisa. Let us know how. How are you using the AI, if you don't mind, like sharing a little bit more? Oh, her first comment was, I guess this one is just in there twice. And then what is this third one? Question, what are the best AI platforms for businesses with so many options? How does one determine the best platform for their business? Could you tell us a little bit?
Yeah, video, right? I think we're all, I assume we all, as marketers, maybe we just assume that, but most people want to figure out how to do video much faster. Also curious to hear what platforms you use, Jesse, too, for AI editing. The two that I like to lean on for video editing is Descript and Opus Clips.
Yep,
Uh,
Opus Pro or
Op-
video.io.
Yep. I when it's something quick and dirty, I'll if I just wanted to, like, I'll say something on my phone, I want to share like an insight that I have, I'll just go to Opus Clips. It'll edit the whole thing for you. It even gives you a viral score. It does the captions, keeps it on brand. It can do B-roll for you, and it does it all in a few minutes. With the script, it can do similar, but there's just a little bit more steps, right? It's a little bit more powerful video editing, but it still has AI too, where if you're doing like a podcast like this and you want to upload it, it can splice it into several clips for you automatically. Both platforms do that. So that's one of the favorite tools that I like to use. And I also recommend for content creation.
Yeah, such a good one. Yeah, it's opus.pro. I'm going to put it in the chat. And I don't know why I put opus.pro/J, but I just put that in the chat.
Can I share a couple more, Jesse?
Please.
So I love using Perplexity. I actually use that more than Google. It is an AI search. So, like when we do, like for example, I was actually planning a trip to Acadia with my kids to go hiking, and you typically would go and look at TripAdvisor, then you go and like read blogs, and you click the next one, you ask the next question, right? When you go on Google search. I mean, Google has their own AI, but it's also not that perfect yet. Their AI version of summarizing things. Perplexity, it already knows that you want to do these 5, 6 like searches, so it does it all in one swoop and presents the answer for you. So then I asked it to create a 5-day agenda. I gave it my kids' ages. So it's just like almost like ChatGPT, where you're having a conversation with it. I'm having a conversation with Perplexity. So think of it like Google and ChatGPT kind of morphed together, and it provided an agenda for me. So I love using Perplexity for doing research, and you don't have a lot of spammy ads and things like that. You do get the information that you need, and it sources all the references for you too very well.
Oh, well, that's cool. Thank you for sharing that. Any you might share, Dr. Kirk Adams?
I have very little to offer here. So I wrote
Yeah.
down Perplexity. I'll be trying it.
Yeah, let's try those things out. Well, before we move into the third topic, unless either of you have anything more to add on that AI topic, The next topic is attracting untapped talent. Reach, include, and accommodate. So, Dr. Kirk Adams, if we already have you full screen here, could you talk to us a little bit about that? What can we do to include more people in our talent searches?
Well, so silver lining to the pandemic, caused a lot of grief and a lot of heartache and still does, but it also disrupted our workplaces to very significant levels. It really normalized remote work. It normalized flexible schedules, hybrid work situations, shifted emphasis to family, to health. So I think we should all take advantage of that disruption. Things can accelerate and happen quicker during times of disruption, and we're at that point. So again, I think back to the concept of thriving, and individuals thriving, and communities thriving, and companies thriving, whether they be for-profit or nonprofit associations, any kind of organized human activity, how to make it as vibrant, as strong, as healthy as possible. And I'm very clear that can happen best when conditions are such that every person involved can bring their best self forward and contribute all the talents and skills and knowledge and wisdom and insights and fun that they have to bring. And I think that really starts with some intentional, proactive effort. In my case, I'm interested in disability inclusion. One of the reasons I think it's so powerful is that disability cuts across all demographic categories. So looking at intersectionality, if you, as an organization, do a good job of including people with disabilities, you're going to do a good job of including people across all the other demographic categories. And I think when I'm asked kind of what the best way to get started is, I think that's self-disclosure. With any organization of 10 or more people, there's going to be someone or more than someone's with disabilities. 70% of disabilities are not visible. So as we gain more understanding around ADHD and anxiety and depression, things like that, conditions that really impact people's activities of daily living, those are disabilities.
Erica said that in the comments earlier too.
And people can have a better experience, a better fit with their workplace, can be more successful, can thrive if those disabling conditions and impairments are taken into account and accommodated. So what I tell organizations who want to get started is bake it in as you do your annual performance reviews, if you do your staff meetings, whatever normal cadence and rhythm you have of communications and interactions, start normalizing it, start asking people, start giving examples like, hey, just wanted to let you know that we appreciate people have differences and they may need a different kind of tool or technique or training to really be successful here and thrive here. And for example, so-and-so needed a larger monitor. This person wanted a standing desk. This person has needs a 2-hour break during the middle of the day, so they have a flexible work schedule. And demographics would show us that some around 15% of people of working age in the country have a disability. And when companies, organizations report out the number of people with disabilities they employ, it's usually between 1.5% and 4%. So that means there's a lot of people in companies and organizations with disabilities that haven't disclosed that, probably for reasons of fear of negative consequences of disclosing. But I think it's a great place to start.
So, Dr. Adams, we got another question I want to bring up. So, Lisa Adams in the chat, or I said Lisa Adams, Lisa Reagan in the chat says, question, what should we keep in mind when looking to have a diverse team, especially if we want to involve individuals with disabilities?
I think just a philosophy that as an employer, a leader, a manager, someone with some influence, that you want to create environments where everyone can, like, I keep using the word thrive, but that's the word, and be successful. And that means different things to different people as far as the tools they may need, the techniques they may need, the training they may need. So two quick things. So an impairment does not necessarily mean a disability. I have a visual impairment. I can't see. So if I'm running a board meeting and I have my agenda in Braille, my committee reports, my financials, I can run that meeting just as effectively as anyone else could run the meeting. If I walk in and you hand me a stack of print materials, my impairment does not allow me to interact with that built environment of print. So I'm in a disabling situation then. So we want to eliminate those disabling situations and create the best fits we can between people in the workplace. And when I'm speaking to groups, I often say, is there anyone in this room that's 5'2" or shorter? And clap. There's always one or two people.
That would be me.
That would be you. So if you walk into a room and there's something you need that's on a shelf that's 8 feet off the floor, your characteristic of your height has put you in a disabling condition, because that physical characteristic does not allow you to interact with your built environment effectively. So you're going to need to get a tool like a step stool, or you're going to need to create a team. You're going to need to find a taller friend to lift it down for you, and you may want to install a lower shelf so you don't run into that situation again. So it's really the fit between the person and the environment, and just being intentional, I think, and thoughtful about it. And when all else fails, ask. The person with the disability, the person with the lived experience of disability knows the best what they need, and just politely and respectfully ask for them to share their wisdom and their expertise on what would be the best thing to do.
I want to make sure and read another question we had from Elizabeth McEwen, who was on Wednesday last week. Thanks for being here, Liz. She says, do you have any thoughts about silent disabilities that people deal with? Things like anxiety, mental illness, chronic fatigue, etc.
Yeah, I do. And that is, boy, I have a visible disability. When I applied for jobs out of college and was running into all the rejections, I would apply for a job, send in my cover letter, my quite excellent academic resume, and get a phone interview. They'd say, come on in. I'd walk in with my long white cane, my little Braille note taker, and the confusion would sit in on the room. How could this blind kid do this job he's applying for? If you have a non-visible disability, then you have a choice of when to disclose that, or whether to disclose it or not. And there's a lot of stigma and fear around disabilities, and a lot of misunderstanding. So I think the best thing we can do if we're in a leadership role is to create an environment where it's increasingly safer for people to talk about that. Again, provide opportunities for people to disclose and talk about it. If you're in a large organization, employee resource group of people with disabilities is a great thing to create. If you have an opportunity to bring in speakers, if you have an opportunity to share information, if you look at the calendar, there's a month, a week, a day for awareness of every possible disabling condition. So you could certainly highlight those in your workplace, either formally or informally. But I think just, again, starting to normalize it, starting to talk about it. And again, give people opportunities to do so.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, thank you for getting into that. It is such an important topic, mental health. And everyone watching, feel free to continue to put in your questions and we will get to them. Comments, we want to hear from you. In the meantime, let's get to this final topic, because we still have Guru of the Week and we need to give away these prizes, which, by the way, make sure you're entering to win these prizes. Tag high level, put hashtag headset. put hashtag personal branding, hashtag revenue to enter to win our prizes. There is a full moon tomorrow night, so it's like pretty much full tonight, hence the moon in the background. Want to know what you think about the background and the circle figures, but put that in the chat as well. And in the meantime, let's get to AI marketing, analyzing interactions, improving campaigns. Could you lead us off on this discussion, Com?
Yeah, if you're using AI tools like ChatGPT, Gemini, Claude, let's say most of us are using ChatGPT, right? If you get the pro version, it's way more powerful, especially analyzing data. So I remember I got this complex analytical report from a new client, and it was just messy. It was charts and numbers everywhere, little fonts, like maybe like 5-point font. And I just took a picture of it and I uploaded it. And it's like, what am I looking at? And it came back and it actually described and it made sense. I was like, oh, you're right. That is what I'm looking at. And it said, oh, these are their target audiences. These are the two that are high performing. These are associated to this campaign here. So like when you're looking and analyzing data, and sometimes even if you're proficient at it, it's a data scientist in your pocket, on call whenever you need. So if you want to take a picture and say, hey, analyze this thing, or you want to upload a spreadsheet or CSV and say, hey, analyze the data set, what can I do better here? What are some anomalies you're seeing? What are things that you suggest? So those are ways like we're trying to help teach other marketing departments like how to leverage AI to use to improve their campaigns and their reporting. When you are considering your campaign, right, and the campaign has all these moving pieces, you also want to consider the buyer's journey. So what types of data sets can you be measuring from prior to the buyer even having awareness to you all the way to the end where they purchase your product, and then hopefully they're advocating for you, right? So it's creating that cycle there. And when you have that conversation, tying it back to like marketing and sales and asking them like, where are you seeing things are falling off? Where are you seeing things are working? Looking at all that data set, and even having a conversation, because you can talk, and I do this when I'm driving. I'll talk to my GPT in the car, and I created a strategist GPT bot, and I will just bounce ideas off of it back and forth. This is what I'm thinking. So this way I can leverage the tool to really kind of be that partner with me. But if it's not a peer partner and you just need it to be that strategist for you or something to help analyze how your campaign's doing, you can upload all that into the tool and ask it to review it and then say, let's take it step by step. Because if you try to do it all at once, it's too overwhelming for the tool. So it'll come back and say, here's what I think your campaign should be doing. It might list like 10 things. Then I'll say, well, let's do it one by one. So because that way it gives it time to think about it. And then you can actually go deeper. And after that, when I'm done doing, let's say it's 10 different sections of what it's going through with you, I was like, now give me a summary of our conversation. So you can take that summary now and present it to your team, or if you need to pitch it to your manager. And that's ways that we've taught people how to leverage AI to kind of really be that assistant, to a marketer yourself, or to someone who's not a marketer and needs to understand how to like improve their own marketing campaigns.
So interesting. So, well, before I give my take on all of that, I would love to hear your responses to anything he was just saying, Dr. Adams.
Again, I'm learning a lot, and the thought of having a strategist persona and talking to it, and bouncing ideas, awesome. I will be endeavoring to do that. Again, it just holds out so much promise, and I think can be so liberating. And tying it back into creating opportunities for people to thrive and creating a better fit between the person with impairments and the built environment. I just see AI as just a powerful force to help do that.
I have a question for Dr. Adams. So Dr. Adams, like I created also I create different bots for either the role that I'm looking for, if it's like a sales agent, a marketing agent. I also created a performance coach, something that I say, I want you to be my personal performance coach and business coach. So I morphed it into one to give it that persona. And one time I asked him, like, I'm always forgetting things. I'm always dropping the ball. My wife is always disappointing, but I crush it at work, but at home I forget this. I'm like, why is that happening? So now I'm almost like in this therapy session asking it questions, and it gave me tips that I rolled out and executed. And now my wife says, wow, you haven't forgotten things lately, Calm. So now I'm setting that tone because I'm thinking, what if we created some type of like performance bot for when you're onboarding a new employees, and we teach companies to do this, and they say, someone who has anxiety, so it has a bot that specializes in that.
Yeah.
To help them do their like, oh, I'm getting kind of nervous, or I'm having like, I'm kind of and talk them through it. I wonder if that would be something. What would you think of that type of use case?
Yeah. Like, what are some anxiety best practices around people who are experiencing anxiety? The four sounds, the four sights, the four senses. Take a moment. The 5-second breathing rhythms, whatever those things are. I think that could be great. Exercise, diet, those things that are so important to health that can, if a person's spiraling, that can be forgotten. I think that makes a great deal of sense.
So yeah, maybe having a bot that's kind of there with you every day on your computer that just checks in with you
and learns what types of situations might be problematic, and helps you anticipate those things. I could see how that could be super helpful.
So interesting. So yeah, I mean, if you end up creating anything like that, then let us know, or if you know anyone who does. But yeah, super interesting. But we're not done with this topic. People from the comments, what are you wondering with AI marketing, analyzing interactions, improving campaigns? I mean, there's so much to unpack there. You can feed qualitative data to AI, you can feed quantitative data to AI. Garbage in, garbage out. Right. But yeah, I don't know. What else might you add on this, Com? What tips could we take away, like actionable advice?
I do a lot of like AI literacy training for companies and departments, and
Love
people
that.
just waiting and seeing, like, just play with it. I'm glad to hear too, Dr. Adams, you got to go and start utilizing some new features there.
Mm-hmm.
I think once people start to play with it, they get comfortable with it, they start to uncover like capabilities, and they're like, oh, what if I did this? What if I did that? So now like you have this like additional tool that's giving you a whole plethora of options that you never had before. So now it's helping you actually solve problems that you didn't have before. So I think people just need to keep being curious and just dabble with it.
Yeah, definitely. Well, we need to move on as much as I don't want to. Looks like we had another comment though. So Lisa says, how does one know if what AI tells us is truth or fiction? And Liz says, yes, just do it.
Yeah, I mean, they're saying it's very good. What's scary, they say it's very good at persuasion, right? So that, but I think as a human, we still followed our gut. Just like we're getting advice from another person, another expert, you might get 5 different opinions, and then one person gives you a different opinion. AI is a little bit no different than that. It's giving you information. Of course, they say that it could hallucinate. So hallucinate means that it might lie to you. But again, it comes down to checking your resources. I always tell my kids, because now they're the next generation gonna get exposed to this. So you cannot believe what you hear, see, or read or watch anymore because of just AI content putting out there. So we have to check our resources.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you so much for sharing on that. And if anyone else has any more questions on it, please put it in the chat. In the meantime, make sure that you've entered to win all prizes. We're going to be giving those away here in just a moment. Of course, make sure you're registered for next week. I haven't mentioned it yet. We've got Dr. Alexandra Kararzi. She's a surgeon, cardiologist, I want to say. And then Charlie Riley, who is this just like really interesting, disruptive marketer. I would say even I met him as a guerrilla marketer at the event in Vermont that I went to for Exit 5, but just very interesting guy. So next week we have a really great episode planned. Definitely tune in. I'll be running it from Dallas. But I need to do a drum roll because we've got the guru of the week. Ooh, ooh. And Dr. Adams and Kirk, I did
Yep.
not prepare you, but I'm going to pull myself out of the screen right now, and the two of you can feed off of each other. I'm going to put your gurus of the week on the screen.
Okay.
So I'll just go ahead and do that. And then once I drop off the screen, if you could just tell us why we should go follow these people
Okay.
and why they are your guru of the week. So we've got Megan Miller and Ruben Hassad. Tell us about.
Shall I go? So Megan Miller has a podcast called Attention to Intention, and I listen to a podcast in the morning when I'm getting organized, and I think I was searching for the keyword intention. I found her podcast. It's very grounding for me. She has a method she's developed called the intentional living method. It really aligns with my thinking around purpose and aligning my efforts around purpose. And I listened to a number of episodes, and I reached out to her on LinkedIn and said, I love your podcast. And she said, why don't you be a guest on my podcast? So I did that. And she's introduced me to a number of people who share an interest in inclusion. And when she talks, she kind of sounds like a cat purring. So that's why I like Megan Miller.
Great. Ruben Assad, he is amazing. Like when I was really starting to dive deeper and playing around and try to uncover like real use cases, not just philosophy and theory around AI. Every day he's posting like content. Here's how I use it. Here's how I use it for this. Here's how I use it for images. Here's what doesn't work. He like debunks things. Now he has a software out for creating content on social media. And I think all of us are always trying to figure out how to create content better. I tried a lot of different tools, and his tool's legit. And it makes sense that it's legit because he's brilliant. It's called easygen.io, and it just really helps distill kind of what you're trying to say, and it writes it in your tone. So, I mean, he's really great at providing use cases and creating content for folks that are marketers or anyone that's in communication.
Wow, they both sound so interesting. So I'm tagging them in the comments right now so people can go follow them on LinkedIn. So we've got Megan Miller and Ruben. It's HASSID. Is that correct?
Yes.
All right. So I'm trying to tag him. Is he this one? Yep, here he is with the little bit of a red background. So go follow these people. And you just heard why. And we're all sometimes complaining about the feed and what we're seeing on LinkedIn. So get some new people on your feed. And with that, we need to give away some prizes here. And I'm going to do that here. So let me make sure that I'm putting this up on the screen one more time. But you can enter to win by putting in high level headset, personal branding, #revenue. And I really want to make sure I get this guru of the week tagged, but I'm having an issue tagging, it seems, on LinkedIn. Here we go. You are the guru of the week. Thanks to, and then I tag Com. And yes, he's going to hopefully see this. But folks, make sure that you're following those people, because here's your chance to meet someone new. And, maybe do the like, hey, want to get a coffee thing if it looks like someone you might want to have a conversation with. But we have to give away some prizes. And before we do, Dr. Kirk Adams and Com, could you tell our listeners if they do put #revenue in the comments to enter to win your prize? And we have from Dr. Kirk Adams on the screen, it says the disability dividend supercharge your bottom line through disability inclusion book. And then we have the one-on-one AI productivity session for 1 hour from UCOM. So Kirk, could you tell us about your prize?
Yes, it is a business book that I am just wrapping that should be available within about 30 days. And it makes the business case for disability inclusion, why including people with disabilities makes organizations better, stronger, and the positive cultural transformation that happens when you intentionally include people with disabilities, and it tells you how to do it.
That is so cool. Thank you so much for sharing. So kind of you. And what are you sharing with us tonight, Com?
This one-on-one it really helps uncover, if it's personal use or business use, like how do you tell me, like, what do you do day to day? Like, what are some repeated things that you're doing? And the results that people have given me is that I've had one person say they saved over 10 hours a week. So imagine what you can do there. Maybe go to the beach on Fridays. And then one person said they applied the learnings to their team. They saved 2 weeks of work for a campaign they were building. So pretty confident we can try to find ways to put time back in your day so you can do other things that you enjoy.
Wow, that's so generous. Thank you both for giving this tonight. Let's go ahead and give away these prizes. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we're just going to go ahead and start with, we've got the high level swag pack, and we've got 5 entries, which Reviting can't win. I must have put high level in the chat. Maybe when I put the link, reviting.com/high level, my affiliate link. But no, I'm going to draw again for this one because I saw Dean on there. So Layla, I know I see you there, but we can't send it to South Africa, I don't think. So yeah, unfortunately you won, but I'll check with them to see if we can send it to South Africa. In the meantime, Dean, you are the winner of the high level swag pack. Look at that. And it runs to Reviting again. But Dean, we are going to follow up with you and connect you via email with High Level to get you the swag pack. And actually, we'll connect with you via email to get your size and all your information, so we can submit that on a page they created for us to like automate and get you that swag pack. So let's give away, not hashtag revenue yet. We've got 1 entry for hashtag headset. So I'm not even going to run this. So if someone else puts hashtag headset in here and before the show is over, then we can run it. But for now, whoever that is, we'll search you later and we will give you that hashtag headset. Otherwise, hashtag personal branding. We've got 2 entries here, either Lisa or Dean. Who's it going to be? 1 month free of my coaching program. Dean, congratulations. I can't wait to have you in the Taking Up Space program. And you have such an awesome energy. He's awesome. If you're not following Dean, go follow Dean. He has a story about a potato. Let him tell you his story about his potato in his name. And let's give away another prize, because why not? I'm going to share my screen one more time and give away. There's still only 1 for hashtag headset. 3 for hashtag revenue. We've got Liz, Dean, and Lisa. Who's it going to be? Who's it going to be? Who's going to win that prize tonight? Dean! It is your lucky night, Dean. Congratulations. You are the winner. So we will be in touch with you via email to get your details and connect you with the prize givers. And thank you so much to our guests. We really appreciate you being here. Before we go, could you please just let listeners know a little bit about, I don't want to say give us your like sales pitch, but like, who do you serve? How do you help them? And also, if they think that you could help them, how could they reach out to you, Com? We'll start with you.
Yep. We're helping like larger small businesses to mid-market size businesses, but I also been working with individuals and executives on really understanding like how to use AI for marketing, sales, or success, right? Those departments. And you can reach out to me on LinkedIn. So that's the best way to get a hold of me, and DM me or comment on any of my posts, and happy to help and connect. So anything around growth marketing, especially weaving that in with AI and any tools to save some time for you.
Yeah, thank you so much for sharing that. And Dr. Kirk Adams, could you please give your pitch and how people can reach you as well?
Sure. Yeah, I work with companies, like I say, help supercharge the bottom line through disability inclusion. I have a lot of expertise in how the structures work, what all the resources are that can be brought to bear, and happy to talk to anyone who is at any point in the journey of disability inclusion. And Kirk Adams, PhD on LinkedIn is a great way to get in touch.
Thank you so much for sharing that. Before we go, we did have one larger comment from Liz. She says, I hope it's okay to drop this info here with you all. Would you help this South Florida family rebuild following Milton? Megan Shirley is a friend of mine. She and her children, plus our mutual friend Lee Gray and her son, were victims of an F3 tornado in Wellington on Help as They Rebuild. Please consider donating and sharing this link. It's a GoFundMe and it's /247-4FF92. Thank you so much, Liz, for sharing that. I know many were impacted by Hurricane Milton. So sending our hearts out there to that family. Dean, I see your potato and triple play. What do you mean by triple play? Not so sure. Oh, you mean like you won 3 times? Remember that time I won like every prize? Yes, I do remember that, Liz. And Dean ends with thanks, guys. And thank you, everyone. And thank you again to our guests. I'll go ahead and close this out with an outro video until next week. Really appreciate you spending your evening with us.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Jesse. Time
Yeah,
flew
thank
by.
you.
Appreciate it.
Bye-bye.
You know who made it.